Welcome in, everyone, to a Friday night Pooh Show, Packer Outright Opinions. We got a debate ahead of us, but we also have to get to some league news and notes real quick before that. But even before that, Raider Rick is here to moderate for us. Raider Rick, thanks for being here. How are you? Oh, no, he's on mute. Ben, you're supposed to call him out and tell him he's on mute. Like you always tell me I'm a dumb.
It's been a long week. It's been one of those weeks.
Look at Raider Rick. Are you
it's
growing
Friday.
your hair out? You're growing your hair out a little bit.
Yeah, it's getting
Nice.
cold. I got to stay warm.
Nice. It's colder up in Minnesota. Hey, Giant Jones tonight, extra blonde. This one's kind of a powerful one. 11.1 ABV, so
Dang, that is big for a blonde.
I know.
Just so you guys know, I was a little messed up today.
Oh, okay.
Last night I was throwing up and
Yeah.
pooping out.
Why you got to start off the show like this? Don't do
I'm just saying, I was up all night. I called into work sick for the first time in like a year and a half.
Wow. That's
and
terrible.
then I slept most of the day, and
Okay.
so, but I'm still going to be okay for debate.
All right.
I'm sorry you're feeling crappy, Ben, but if Patrick Mahomes had a game like that for me last year in the season opener, I'd probably feel the same way.
No.
Yeah,
no,
okay.
the six.
Patrick Mahomes is good.
It's
Kadarius Toney, who apparently doesn't know how to catch balls.
Well, I'd say
and cost me 6 goddamn points. I don't even want to talk about that. That's a bullshit freaking rule. I know you put it in there because of Brett Favre. I know you did, Jason, but it screws guys that are good. You did it because you hate Brett Favre, so you made that stupid pick six rule. I know you did.
Pick six? I didn't do it because I hate Brett Favre. I did it because those are huge game-changing plays, and they should.
You're right. It was a huge game-changing play that Kadarius Toney screwed up.
Yeah. Hey, but last night, just talking about the game last night, it wasn't just the Chiefs receivers that are bad. The Lions receivers were dropping balls and sucking up the joint too, except for Amon-Ra. And then I don't know why Goff kept throwing that Reynolds guy because he was terrible, but then he finally made a big catch in the end. But Jesus, man, those guys were all bad last night, except for MVS, who Patrick Mahomes is the dumb doesn't throw it to him. Throws to him on third and forever, and MVS catches the ball over the middle, gets rocked right away, hangs on to it. But then Patrick Mahomes keeps throwing to the other guys. I don't get it. He's dumb, so he deserves it.
I don't know why he doesn't throw it to MVS more. It's dumb.
Yeah,
trust me. Right. I'm gonna have to start Justin Fields next week now.
Holy cow! Dave is excited that the Packers brought Malik Heath. He's gonna be probably starting tomorrow, right? Or Sunday. I think Malik Heath. Dad's here, Dad. And David says from Mississippi that brought Heath to the Packers. Oh, okay. Yep, from the South he came up. That's right. We're glad to have him, David, because he might be a key guy on run blocking and catching some balls coming up on Sunday. We'll get into all that. The other big news, a couple of things from the Lions game. There was some stuff, everybody talking about the receiver drops and all this sort of stuff. Rick, offensive line. I mean, I'm sitting here watching the game, and I wasn't listening to some of the commentary, and then finally they were talking about it. But, like, the right tackle of the Chiefs never was set. All he was moving the whole time. I'm like, if I was a defensive player, I would have jumped off sides and made them throw the flag 800 times. I would have just done it every single play because that's what he did. He was never, ever, ever set on a single play.
He wasn't set. He was lined up. He looked like a wing instead of a tackle. I mean, the guy was like in the backfield, at least the first half, almost every time. Those Chiefs cheat. I'm telling you, they're no good.
And they still couldn't block Aiden Hutchinson. He was a freaking monster. Jesus.
Well, they could block him, but they moved him to tackle, and they had him rush over the guard in passing situations, and then that changed a lot because then Mahomes got pressure in his face right away.
Yeah,
but he's like, I mean, he had a bunch of quarterback pressures. I know he didn't really get a sack or whatever, but he was like pressuring all game long. I didn't look up the numbers on his pressures, but he might have had double-digit pressures in that game. That was crazy.
I know you've been saying last couple of seasons, look out for the Lions, but I think they got some people's attention yesterday. I mean, I know toward the end of the game, Tirico caught a little heat for saying the win comes with an asterisk because the Chiefs were missing Jones and missing Kelsey. But, like you're saying, those guys aren't playing offensive line for them. They're not keeping Mahomes, clean and giving him time to throw. They're not catching Kelsey would catch the ball, but, the Chiefs lost some key guys. They're still going to be good, but I think that was a wake-up call for the rest of the league. And the Lions might be looking like they're for real. I don't know. I mean, it was like watching a game of Madden toward the end of the game with the let's go for it on 4th down every time. That was always my strategy.
Yeah, works.
It worked about as well as it did for them at the end of the game.
Well, the Lions are trying to win. I mean, that's one thing that's pretty fun, right? Is a franchise that's been down for so long, and now that something is expected of them, you would be like, oh, are they going to kind of play it safe or whatever? No, they're going to go do crazy stuff and try to win games. And their coach is going to take chances. And like they took a chance last night late in the game. They didn't get it. And their defense stepped up and stopped them again. So and the defensive backs that looked horrible at times last year, but they played a bunch of young guys to get them experience now. And they mixed in some veteran guys too and improved it. And then added Branch in the draft, who was just a heads-up dude who also made tackles. Their defense is much improved. And between pressure that nobody can block Hutchinson, and then you got guys in the back end that can fly around. Campbell was only doing spot duty last night, and he is like first-round pick and a fly-around linebacker too. So
he made a nice pass breakup when he first came in.
Yeah, they got some players.
Gardner Johnson coming over from the Eagles, he was everywhere last night making plays.
Yep.
So I mean, the Lions have something on defense now, where they have some playmakers out there. I still think they have holes and they still have weaknesses, and you can still attack them. And the other thing is, listen, they had 7 points in the first half, and the only reason why they did have those 7 points is because Dan Campbell went for a fake punt inside his own 20-yard line on their third drive because they went 3-and-out, and he was like, we got to get some points, and we're going crazy, and we're just going for it. And if he would have done that, they might not have any points in the first half. So, I mean, for everybody who's crowning the Lions today, all I can say is they look like a decent team. They have some new stud players who they've signed in free agency on defense or drafted who are making some plays, and the guy from last year, Hutchinson, who got a lot of pressure and looked great, but they've still got weaknesses on defense. On offense, they have nothing that scares you as far as stretching the field goes until Jameson comes back from his suspension. But I mean, they ran the ball like a million times, and they only got 70 yards or whatever for that Montgomery. I mean, he was averaging like 3 yards a carry. It wasn't like they were killing him.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I just, the way everybody's talking about him today, from what I hear, is they're all like, "Oh, there you go, the Lions are taking over the North. It's and all this kind of crap." And it's like the Chiefs had nothing. They were playing like crap. Guys are wide open, dropping balls. I mean, it was freaking pathetic. And then they couldn't. And even without Chris Jones in there, the Lions couldn't run the ball that great. I mean, they were only getting 3 yards a carry, like I said. So the Chiefs had a terrible game. They played like they were just like sleepwalking the whole time. And the Lions had to pull out all the stops just to get 7 points in the first half. So let's not crown the Lions too early. Let's wait and see what the Packers look like tomorrow or Sunday. And then we can judge and see what's going to happen. But the Lions look okay. I'm not saying that they're bad. I'm just saying they've got weaknesses. Everybody does at this point.
Yeah, I agree with that. But it's also, they look like a team that's going to compete and play with anybody anybody they come up against. They can stay in the game, I think. And I was surprised mostly by how well their defense played last night. So, because their receivers
dropped a lot of balls, dude.
Yeah, their receivers dropped a lot of balls too, and the guy fumbled one, and the quick screen and the inside the 15-yard line too, where they were going in for a score. So, I mean, there's plays here and there. I don't know why receivers are so bad. Maybe I got to institute a harsher penalty in fantasy for drops again. Maybe I got to have more negative points.
Yeah, if there's a drop that leads to a pick six, give it to the receiver, not the damn quarterback. Jerk face, idiot. My number one pick sucked last night. Well, he didn't suck. He was fine. He was good.
Yeah, he was fine.
If you add 6 points, he would have scored me 30 points, which is what he said he was supposed to score me at 31 points. But I got stuck with only 24 points because I lost 6 because of your dumb, stupid rule.
No, it's because his dumb, stupid receiver. And he should have thrown, and he should have been smarter and threw to number 11. But he didn't throw to number 11 nearly enough. Did you also, as a side note, did you also see MVS crack down on Aiden Hutchinson on the outside on a play? They showed a replay of it, and he hit him pretty damn hard and actually knocked him back. MVS, man, way better than anybody gives the guy credit for. So,
well, he's long gone, so I ain't worried about him.
I know, he's a good player. Anyway, the other note, Daz is asking if everyone's ready for the Bears. Packers are playing the Bears. So I have to say this because I looked into some stuff this week real quick. And I was checking it. I wanted to hear what the Bears media and Bears podcasters and Bears people were saying about, and the NBC Chicago, which also does, recaps with Dave Wanstead. They got on there, and they get some former players on there. And it's all the same shit for my guy. Like, they bring him in last year. He's an awesome guy. I know he gets hurt, so then he can't play, and then he plays with the club for a while. Then he hurts his toe. So it's kind of a lost season. So then they try to improve the offensive line. They bring in new guys. They spend some resources. Now he's a backup. Cody Whitehair is the center originally. Then they get the injury to Tevin Jenkins. And now Lucas Patrick's starting center against the Packers on Sunday. So I wanted to hear what people are saying. And all of them are just putting him down. All of them are like, well, I mean, he's a veteran guy. He'll do okay. He'll do the job. I'd rather see Whitehair there and maybe have this other guy start. I don't know why this Dan Feeney guy's not starting, that they brought in as a free agent too and all this stuff. Well, there's a reason he's not starting. Because if Lucas isn't hurt, he's going to be awesome. So get ready, Packers fans. Get ready, Kenny Clark. And everybody playing in the middle, because he's going to have a little extra motivation because he's playing the Packers, and he didn't get to hardly play at all last year. So the Packers defensive linemen better be ready. And I'm happy that Lucas gets a chance, but it's the same bull crap again. Like, they're just trying to replace him. Everybody's trying to replace him his whole damn life. It's just a bunch of crap. That's what I heard, though, found on the Bears. So the Bears people are just as dumb, except maybe their coaches aren't as dumb because they're actually going to start him over these other guys. So that's what I found out this week, too. Checking the Bears stuff.
Okay, when you're the host, you don't take a drink.
That, and they think Justin Fields is awesome, but, so they're wrong on both those things. All right, let's get to the debate. Raider Rick, take over. It's debate time. Lay it out.
Debate time.
Raider Rick on the clock.
It is time for the Great Hafeman Bros debate, kicking off the 2023 season. Those of you who have been following the show know that these guys do it once in a while. So we'll present a question. One of the brothers will start out and have 3 minutes to provide their answer, their insight, their thoughts. And the other brother will then have 2 minutes for a rebuttal. At the end, we can pick a winner based on...
me.
Yeah. Whatever.
You know what? All right. Look at my hair right over here, and then look at Rick's hair. It's pretty similar here. My hair from when I was 2.5, 3 years old, and Raider Rick's hair, pretty similar here. See this up above him?
Yeah.
Up to the left. And then this is the blonde one to his right is Ben, but
yeah, my hair ain't like that anymore.
The one that's angled to the side because I couldn't sit straight.
I don't know. That's you have way more curls up there.
I know, but okay. Go ahead, Rick. Continue on. I'm sorry.
You're distracting away from rules.
Well, you said I was going to lose already, so I had to throw curveball.
No, he said whatever.
Just letting Ben think he's going to win.
Oh, okay.
Let him get overconfident.
Okay. Like the Chiefs and his quarterback last night. Anyway, go ahead.
So whoever answers first will have 3 minutes. Second brother will have 2 minutes for the rebuttal, and we'll alternate as we go through the questions. With 15 seconds left in your time, I'll give you a visual indicator like this, telling you got 15 seconds left. And if you're not done, then we'll start talking over the top of you to cut you off. We could do that. We've done that as a warning in the past, but you guys just talk over the top of it anyway. And then people
now you know what it's like, Rick. It sucks when people fart you in the middle of your talking.
That's true. All right. And, elected officials have made the decision that Ben will answer first. Oh. So, Ben, first question to you is, this season the Packers basically are adopting a new identity. Last time we saw this much change and a new image, new look, everything for the Packers was the start of the 2019 season, right? That comes in, it's the LaFleur era. Now, first time we have a new era, it's the Jordan Love era. And coincidentally, the Packers open against the Bears, just as they did in the 2019 season. So what do you think? Which season opener against the Bears has more excitement leading up to the game for the Packers? The 2019 opener or this year's opener? Your time starts now.
It's a tough question because I think it's very close. But based on how I'm feeling right now and when I go back and think to 2019 and where I was as a fan at that point, I was like most fans. I was a big Rodgers lover. And I had believed that McCarthy was the problem for at least a couple, 2-3 years there. So the fact that we had gotten rid of McCarthy and we still had Rodgers, right, who I had thought was the man, not a jerk face. It wasn't until after that where we realized he was a jerk face. And I think most Packer fans are the same way. They didn't realize he was a jerk face until like last season, like Jason, or 2 seasons ago, whatever. But also, Goody went and spent money. He got the Smith brothers. He got Adrian Amos. He got Billy Turner, who people told us was good. They lied, but they told us he was good, so we didn't know any better. We were like, okay, this guy's got long hair, and he's from Minneapolis. He might be a good guy. Cool. And then we had a young, super good looking. All the girls liked him. All the ladies were like, ooh, Packers. They wanted to watch the sidelines for some reason. They thought he was a good looking coach with a new scheme from the Sean McVay / Shanahan scheme. We were like, oh, super awesome scheme. So quarterback is still all Hall of Famer. A bunch of new signees coming in with an all new scheme. I believe that 2019 had more anticipation for Packer fans because we believed that McCarthy was the problem. We believed that a new system was going to just open up the offense forever. We also believed that they were finally going to release Aaron Jones for the first time ever. So this is like the first time we're going to be able to see Aaron Jones go crazy. And also, all those signees on defense were like finally some guys on defense to make something happen. So all those things rolled into one, led to 2019 being a little bit more of an excitement for fans. Because this year, 2023, we don't know what Jordan Love is. Half of the guys on the team are first or second year players. There's a lot of, we don't know. So it's hard to be excited. It's excited because you don't know what's going to happen. But there's no anticipation for success. Where 2019, there was an anticipation for success. And that's why I believe 2019 opener against Bears had way more anticipation for Packer fans, and we're way more pumped because we have no idea what the expectations are for this year. And it's a little scary. So I'm going to give it 2019. I'm done.
All right, Ben, I think those are good points. I certainly agree with that. Jason, what's your take? What do you think, 2019 or 2020?
I'm going to bring you all the way back to 2019 because that's when we also started our show, Packer Outright Opinions. Well, actually, it was Hafeman Brothers Talking Packers at that time as HBTP. And we didn't have quite all the same tech set up, and it was just kind of, and I had to do some editing because Ben wasn't in his flow state yet and all that good stuff. But I'm going to bring you back to that, and I'm going to bring my brother back to his comments at that time, where throughout that season, he said it was such a fun season because we didn't have a lot of expectations for that team because the year before they were terrible. The year before, Aaron Rodgers threw the ball away 500 times, or 50 times, whatever, 55, 500, not much difference. And we didn't really know how good some of these guys were going to be. And even though Zadarius Smith, won the battle of the media and the press conference, he was pretty good that year, and then he just tailed off. So what's different now is we have a new quarterback. We have a new opportunity to see this team grow and get better. Whereas you kind of knew a lot of what was going to happen at the end of that season. It was going to be the same old with Aaron Rodgers losing in the playoffs. So I'm going to take the opposite approach and say 2023, this season is more exciting because we've got more things that we have no clue what's going to happen on Sundays. So it's exciting to watch. It might be more of a nervous excitement because of that. But guys like A.J. Dillon are coming out and saying, my guy Love is ready to go. He's going to surprise people. Plenty of other people have backed up Jordan Love in the last 6+ months, and especially going up to the season. And so I'm going to trust the Packers' current players and the brass who made and got Rodgers out of town, made that decision, that this season is going to be more exciting for all the newness and all the growth we get to see.
Time's up. Fair point as well. So I think it comes down to 2019. There were high expectations coming in to the season, whereas this year there's a little more excitement, unknown, curiosity perhaps.
Bottom line is 2019 was not even mentioned. Rebuild was not even mentioned. Where this season, rebuild has been mentioned by quite a few people, including Dave Bakhtiari, where nobody mentioned rebuild in the 2019 team.
Well, I'll just make this point. The seasons are all super exciting for Mom, and she's nervous excitement every single season. So,
and I'll just say this. Me personally, I'm more excited for this season, but I'm just saying as a general Packer fan and just as a general everything, at that point, people were also in the media. It was way more hyped up. Now it's like everybody's talking about the Jets, and Packers are kind of like they're not even like relevant as much anymore. I mean, they still talk about them, but hardly at all. So
it's fine.
I win. Sorry, Jason.
We'll see.
All right,
I'll probably win by the end of 2023. You'll see that it's actually that I won. But go ahead.
Well,
I'm like Bach or the great composers. Like people appreciated it, after the fact. Go on, Rick.
That's Felix or no, Robert Schubert. Robert Schubert.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, fair enough. Whatever. I don't know all the composers.
All right, Sebastian Bach, this one's coming to you. So do you think Sunday's game is going to mean more to the Bears or Packers? Let me rephrase this. Do you think winning Sunday's game would mean more to the Bears or to the Packers as they go on through the season?
Well, I will say this. The Bears are going to disappoint no matter what. So winning this game will mean more to the Packers throughout the season because the Packers actually have a chance to make the playoffs, I believe, this year. So a division win, a win against your rival, a win to start the season for a bunch of young guys that need to build confidence and grow and kind of really feel like, yeah, we can all do this at this level. A bunch of these guys have not even played a regular season NFL snap before. So even though certain people are hyped up on them and calling it for the Packers to win the division, which I don't think they will, but we'll get into that later. But I think a win here for this young team in Green Bay is going to mean more than a win for Chicago because Chicago's just going to fall apart anyway later on, so it won't really matter as much. So a win for the Packers for their Jordan Love starting quarterback for the first time in a regular season game as the starter from the gate, and also all these young guys he's got to work with. And then Matt LaFleur, too. Let's just be real. This is Matt LaFleur's first game in a new season where he does not have Aaron Rodgers' shadow over him, where if things go well and they win and the offense is productive, it's all credit goes to Aaron Rodgers. And right now, if things go well with a brand new quarterback who's never really started in the NFL before, a lot of that credit is going to go to Matt LaFleur. So I think it's for the Packers 100%.
All right. Ben, what do you think?
Well, I mean, obviously, the win's going to be great for either team, obviously. But as far as what it means more to them, it comes down to expectations. This is Justin Fields' third season as a starter in the NFL. This is Jordan Love's first season as a starter in the NFL. This is a Packer team that has, like I said, 22 players or whatever that are in their first or second year in the NFL. Where the Bears start their rebuild last year. This is their second year of the rebuild. They need to show improvement. Packers have a bunch of young guys, plus they're going to be without Christian Watson, which means it's even more young guys on the field. So if the Packers lose this game but still look okay, I think the fans won't freak out. I think the Packers will have something to build on if they look good. But if the Bears lose this game at home, week 1 against the Packers, the Bear fans will freak. The Bears will lose any confidence they have at all, and it'll just be a disaster. In that case, this win means way more to the Bears. Way more. Because if they lose, all of a sudden everything starts piling down. The world's falling apart. If the Packers lose, it's like, we didn't really know what we were going to look for here. But the Bears fans, there's a lot of talk. They're chapping at us from down there in Illinois. They're telling us how good they're going to be constantly. And that's why if the Bears lose, it will be a disaster. So they need to win. The Bears need to win this game. It will mean way more to them and their team moving forward because the Packers can still build and learn. And I believe the Packers will get better as the season goes on. They might start slow and then build because they have a lot of guys who need experience. The Bears, they got to win now at home with the Packers coming into their place and prove that they can do it when people are expecting them to probably win. So I'm saying you're wrong again. I'm right again. Once again, I'm right. Okay, I win.
All right. So, Ben, if you're going to build a roster for this season, for one season, and you get to pick one of two young quarterbacks, either Jordan Love or Justin Fields, to run your offense for this year, who would it be and why?
Okay, I don't need 3 minutes for this. It's Jordan Love. It's not even close. And Jason's going to agree with me, so we don't have to even spend much time with this one. It's true. I mean, first of all, we're including the fact that he's sat for 3 years and he's learned everything, right? We're talking Jordan Love right now, Justin Fields right now, right? Okay. So yeah, I'm taking Jordan Love all the way because he knows exactly what he's doing. He makes all the right decisions. He makes all the right checks. He reads the defense properly. He follows his progressions. He throws anticipation throws. Now, he's got some accuracy issues at times. He sometimes gets a little crazy where he's trying to look guys off and then he throws the ball before he looks back and, it's kind of a mess. But when it comes to smart head-up decisions, he's doing it. Also, his pocket presence is very good. It seems like he's got a pretty good job of getting out of the way, not getting sacked as much, knows when he needs to run to scramble for a couple yards. Yeah, he's not going to break off an 80-yard run like Justin Fields would, but he gets out of trouble pretty quick because he knows what's around him. Justin Fields doesn't know what's going on around him half the time. He got sacked a lot last year, which is crazy when you think he's supposed to be so fast and crazy and breaks tackles and all this stuff, but yet he got sacked all that much. No, and his accuracy, not so great. Also doesn't read the field that much. According to JT O'Sullivan, Jason says Justin Fields doesn't, the coaches don't even let him read half the field. They run plays only on one half the field because he can't freaking read the whole route. He doesn't follow his progressions. And his passes are even less accurate than what Jordan Love's are. Yeah, can he run the ball for 80 yards if you screw up and your defense is dumb? Yes. But that doesn't win you games, and he proved it last year. So I will take Jordan Love 100% over Justin Fields. I'm done.
Jace, is it true? Would you agree with Ben?
Yes, 100%. I will say this. If I was running the wing tee in high school, I'd take Justin Fields. But running an NFL offense, it's Jordan Love all day long. Justin Fields is an incredible athlete, and that's why the Bears were enamored with him. That's why the Bear fan base has all this hope, because he can run for over 1,000 yards and he can make guys miss, and he's super fast. But that's not being quarterback. He's not a good quarterback. He can't throw accurately. He can't read stuff out like Ben said. He's not good in the pocket. And he's just not a good quarterback. He's an incredible athlete, not a good quarterback. He's one of those guys that was on his high school team and coming up in football, and they said, you're the best athlete. You're going to have the ball in your hand every play. So they made him play quarterback, and they did a bunch of running plays with him at quarterback. And in college, it's very simple to play quarterback a lot of times in those type of offenses. But when you get to the NFL, man, you got to know how to play quarterback. You got to play from the pocket. You got to be able to do all that stuff. And the other problem is Luke Getsy ain't going to help you get any better. We've seen that. That's why the Packers got his ass out of town and got Obi Tom back so Jordan Love could get better, because Jordan Love was struggling when Luke Getsy was his coach. So, look, Jordan Love's had better coaching in 3 years. Jordan Love is a better passer. Jordan Love is going to be a better quarterback than Justin Fields, 100%. So all the Justin Fields hype, bring it on down. It's going to crash and burn. He might rip off some big runs, but he is not going to beat you with his arm.
All right. Well, good to know the Hafeman brain trust is still intact and the bros are still of one mind on at least some topics.
It's just truth. I mean, we got to speak the truth.
All right, Jason. What do you think the Packers' win-loss record will be at the end of the season, and why? This is kind of going back to what you were talking about. It's a chance for the Packers to rebuild if necessary. What do you think the record's going to look like when we get to the end of the season?
Well, when I first saw the schedule and we went through it live on our initial gut reaction, and Ben had 16-1, and I think I had 13-4, I've kind of dialed it back a little bit. I think the Packers are going to I think the Packers are going to be very competitive. I think they're going to do well. I think this defense has to be better in order for them to win the amount of games I'm expecting, and I'm hoping for that. So I'm going to say the Packers win 11 games this year. They're going to go 11-6. They're going to go 11-6, and they're going to make the playoffs. That's all I'm saying for this Green Bay Packers team.
All right.
And because I see this, better defense, the reasons behind it, better defense, a quarterback who understands the offense, so there's not going to be a lot of mental errors and mistakes. And then also they're going to lean heavy on this running game, which you saw hardly at all in the preseason. We didn't get to see the running game in the preseason with the guys who are actually going to have the ball in their hands. Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon, they're going to run those guys into the ground. And it's going to be awesome because they're going to run the ball inside the 10-yard line for touchdowns. They're going to run the ball on first down. They're going to run the ball sometimes even on second down. Oh, my God, it's crazy. They might run the ball 2 plays in a row this season. Wow, you never saw that under Aaron Rodgers, where you could actually run the ball back-to-back plays, right? That will happen this season. And that's going to also make Jordan Love's job easier because play action is going to come off of that because you're going to be pounding it so much. All of a sudden, you hit him with a play action pass. Jaden Reed gets open. You got guys like that, Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson when he gets back. And Malik Heath is going to just dog some people. He didn't even have to be open. He'll still catch it.
All right. Ben, how about you? You still thinking 16-1, or have you tempered your expectations as well?
Well, Jason brings up Jaden Reed and Christian Watson going to get open. And it just leads to what we saw last night with Kadarius Toney getting open. Those guys have been dropping balls in practice. Those guys have been dropping balls in the preseason. So it doesn't matter if they get open because they're going to probably drop some balls. And that scares me. And the fact that this team has to rely on those guys, we don't know if they're going to be great. We don't know if they're going to be scary. We know they're going to be exciting and fast and aggressive, but I think they'll screw up. And the sad part is there'll be plays where Jordan Love throws the ball perfect and a guy drops it. Then there'll be plays where the guys get wide open and Jordan Love misses the throw. And I think the offense is going to struggle quite a bit, especially early on, unless these guys can pick up their game on catching the ball, because they're not proven that they can do it that great. So I've actually tempered it down. I think they're going to be 9-7 or 9-8, 9-8. And I think there's just going to be some games where Anders Carlson misses a field goal or something when they needed it.
Blasphemous.
Jordan Love is going to miss a throw when they need it. Christian Watson's going to be wide open deep and he's going to drop it. These things are going to happen because they've proven to have happened already. And they don't have the team at this point and the experience to make up for those mistakes. And they'll be one game better than last year. Jason Wilde
too much.
No, it's not about Jason Wilde. It's not about Jason Wilde because I honestly don't think, at least these guys, when they catch the ball, they'll make a play. I would rather see all of these young guys than any of the old guys we've lost. We've already gone over that. But I just say that I'm concerned, and I think that there will be some bumps in the road, but I still think they'll be 9-8, and they'll just squeak into the playoffs. So with like the seventh seed, and then then there will be on a upswing at that point. Like I think they'll win some games at the end and really come together. And next thing you know, boom, boom, boom. Maybe they'll make it, win a couple playoff games. That'd be pretty cool.
You know, being a wild card getting into the playoffs isn't such a bad thing. You know, for a long time, it was extremely rare that a wild card team would actually make it to the Super Bowl. But, you know, it certainly changed in the last, decade or so. So maybe sneaking in, people coming in with their guard down a little bit, maybe that's the right move for them. So We'll see.
So and I got to be honest, like just my views changed after watching the preseason and watching practices. You know, I've seen too many, guy perfect pass and the guy drops it, or I've heard about it from practice, or I've heard guys wide open, Jordan Love overthrew him. You know what I mean? Like that stuff can't happen. It's bad enough when, it happens on the same play or whatever, but like it's going to stall some drives. It's going to be some serious problems. And it doesn't matter how good Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon are, or if the offensive line is protecting well, if guys can't catch and Jordan Love's not as accurate. So I just think, it'll be hit or miss. It'll be 9-8, I think.
I agree the offensive struggles might be there, but the way I haven't fallen off as many victories because I have to believe this defense, which we didn't get to really see the full defense in the preseason whatsoever. So I have to believe this defense being more aggressive and all of the first-round picks and the high-priced guys they got on it, I expect this Packers defense to be a top 10 defense, maybe a top 5 defense, and that can get you a lot of wins in the NFL.
Let's come back to that a little bit later. For now, Ben, you talked about all these young guys and the risks that come with it. Do you think that the Packers' strategy or approach with this youth movement, in their not really rebuild, whatever you want to call it, do you think this strategy to go with young guys was the right choice for the future of the Packers?
Yeah. I mean, it's touchy because if they don't work, then it looks bad, right? But the bottom line is, when Goody had his press conference and Wilde asked him all those questions, and he said, last year wasn't good enough. And they had brought the old guys back 2, 3, 4 years in a row, over and over and over and over and over. And they just didn't have it. So getting the young talent in, as much as I just said, it's going to be bumps in the road and it's not going to be great for this season, maybe. Though they could, catch lightning in a bottle and go crazy and just go nuts. I still believe that 100% the best move was to go young. Their salary cap situation was really bad. For years and years, they kept pushing guys' salary caps into the future and all these fake ghost years onto their contracts, which is going to hurt the cap in the future. As soon as they let a guy go, like all these guys, Agent Amos, Aaron Rodgers, Billy Turner, Zedarius last year, those guys all had ghost years on their contract that affected last year and this year's caps, which made it almost impossible to keep older players on your team. So it's way smarter to go young, let those guys build, have a cheaper roster around you, and then with experience, you're hoping that at least half of the young guys will turn into good players or whatever the case may be. So 100% I agree with Goody's move. And I'm assuming Mark Murphy has given him a little bit of a leash to work with there, where even if the team isn't as successful this season, he's not going to lose his job, that kind of thing. But I think it was the right move for this team at this time, based on the salary cap issues and the fact that they just couldn't get it done. It sucks. They were close for years and years, 13 wins to the NFC Championship game a couple times, had one NFC Championship game at home and you lost. And that's just the kind of thing that you can't bring back the old guys, because you're not going to see upside. You're not going to see a progression in their play. You're going to only see a downgrade or the same. And the same wasn't good enough. So what we're looking for is a progression in play from young players. And the future of the Packers will be brighter than even this season. So, yeah, I agree. It's a good move.
All right. Jason, do you share your brother's optimism?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely needed to be done. And for a number of the reasons Ben pointed out. Also, the way I look at it is, this team, there was always an excuse before. They built everything. They brought all these guys back. They placated to the quarterback, the Hall of Fame quarterback, who was so great, supposed to be one, the best quarterback of all time, or one of them, or whatever. Not greatest quarterback of all time, but some people said best, or most talented, or whatever they kind of said to work around that. But why couldn't they win when it counted? Why couldn't they win in the playoffs? Well, part of the reason was because of the way that quarterback played. So that was part of it, but also part of it was you never got any better with some of these guys. And there's this fine line between having veteran guys that have experience and the value of that, and also having younger players that need to get more opportunities to show what they can do and to ascend, like we've talked about. So you got to walk that fine line. The Packers tried to walk it. They probably went a little too far to the veteran guys and the old guys, but that was, again, based on the demands of their prima donna quarterback, and it held them back. If you think back to the last time the Packers won the Super Bowl, yes, they had some veteran guys in key spots, right? but they had a bunch of young guys. They had a bunch of young guys on that team. So it's good to have a mix. Right now, they're a little on the young side. I get it. So I'm not anticipating the team winning the Super Bowl this year. But guess what just happened? Justin Herbert signed a huge contract. All these young quarterbacks are getting paid. And that's going to change everybody else's salary cap situation. And the Packers, if they have a window here, if they're building young in 1, 2, 3 years, depending the next couple of years, that could be a window to win a Super Bowl just because all of these other teams that have been the cream of the crop were on rookie quarterback contracts. They're not on rookie quarterback contracts anymore. And that's going to change things in their financial world. And the Packers just might capitalize on that and win a Super Bowl in the next couple of years because they made this move right now. I don't know if I answered the question, but I tried.
Rick, you're muted, bro.
So that's a good take, I think, especially from the financial side of things. Ben, what do you? Yeah, that was Jason's lead, right? I'm losing track of who had what here.
Well, I mean, you could leave it Jason now.
It's my lead this time because I finished the last.
That's right. You ended it. Sorry, I was trying to sort through these and
I said such good stuff. You lost track. I threw you off. I get it. I understand.
It was okay. I'll just add one thing. You saw with the Chiefs last night. They didn't have two of their stars, their big price stars, because one of them doesn't want to play unless he gets a new contract. The other one's hurt, and they had nobody who can catch. They had nobody who could get to the quarterback. You know what I mean? I mean, they looked mediocre at best, and that was a team that won the Super Bowl last year. So yeah, Jason's right. You try to keep these high price guys, and the Packers even. When you look at their team, they've got a lot of high-priced Kenny Clark and Dave Bakhtiari and Jair Alexander, and
But it's the quarterback. I mean, Joe Burrow just signed a record-breaking contract, right? Herbert signed for just $10 million less not that long ago. Like all these young, talented quarterbacks are now due, and that's going to change things for a bunch of these teams.
I was saying that after Dak got his contract, so Chris Jones is holding out for a contract that's going to reset the market for that. Hockenstein wanted to reset the market for tight ends. You can't have somebody resetting the market for something every year, right? I mean, I don't care how much they raise the cap. So then teams are playing these games with, we'll sign you for veteran minimum on the cap and pay you like $1 billion as your signing bonus. Like, yeah, come on. Like, what's the point of the cap rule if that's what you're going to do? Like, I don't know. It seems sort of crazy, but anyway. So Jason, if the Packers do look good this season, if this decision to go youthful pays off, who is it going to be more redeeming for? Is it going to be for Goody, who's certainly caught some flack the last few years for personnel decisions? All the hot water and trouble that came out with the Rodgers situation. Or is it going to be LaFleur, who some people might say he's on the hot seat because he hasn't really shown that he can take him over the hump and win in a big game. So say the Packers look good this year. Whose butt is it going to save more? Is it going to make Goody look good, or is it going to make LaFleur look good? Which guy's going to come out looking better?
I'm going to go in not a totally different direction, but a tangential direction, which is I'm going to use a quote from my brother, which is the bumble fart turnip truck farmer Mark Murphy is going to look great if all of that happens, because he was the one that leaked out stuff in the media, helped force Aaron Rodgers out the door, said complicated fella publicly, did all of these things to try to help get Rodgers the hell off the team. And Mark Murphy's going to look great if all this comes out. Now, LaFleur's going to benefit, Goody's going to benefit, all of that. But Mark Murphy's the team president. He is the guy at the top. He's the guy that when they brought in LaFleur, they said, we're restructuring the way the power structure is here, right? And I'm going to be overseeing all the things, because in the past, the team president, Bob Harlan was kind of on the side. Ron Wolf did whatever the hell he wanted. Ted Thompson did whatever the hell he wanted. And Harlan was just kind of like there. Right? And Murphy started that way, but then when the team fell apart and he got super pissed when they sucked balls in 2018 against the Arizona Cardinals at home and played a terrible game, that he fired Mike McCarthy right after the game. Right? I mean, did he even get to do his press conference before he's fired? I don't even know. But he was fired right away. And Mark Murphy said, we're going to bring in a young coach, his first-time head coach, so I can take the power back and put it under me. And even though I got a terrible haircut and I seem like I should be out there with a hand tool cutting wheat, I'm running a football team and a franchise in the NFL. And so he's going to benefit the most and look the best. Is that one and only Mark Murphy. Complicated fella. I'm talking at the girls' high school championships at the Resch Center. Well, we might want Aaron to go away. I mean, what? Oh, whoopsies. I guess I said things publicly no one wanted me to say, but I did it anyway because I do it the Mark Murphy way. So he's going to be the guy that comes out the best.
All right. I think that's a good third option, although I think he's in a position to insulate himself. If they look good, he can take the credit. If they look bad, he can throw the other two under the bus. I don't know, Ben, what do you think? Which of those two, or I guess three, do you think comes out smelling the most rosy if the Packers look good this season?
Mark Murphy is never going to look good. So that was the dumbest answer I've ever heard my brother say in the history of all time. Number one. Number two,
that is absolutely not true.
Number two, the question was, what's the difference? If the Packers are successful, who's going to get the most credit or whatever, or who's going to be more the reason why they were successful this season? Not in the future, not down the road, this season. And the bottom line is, first of all, Mark Murphy will never be that. And Goody will not be that either. It'll be Matt LaFleur. Because if this team does well, this will be the best coaching job in the history of all NFL. Period.
Whoa.
Matt LaFleur should have won Coach of the Year in 2020 or 2019. One of those 2 years he should have won Coach of the Year, and he didn't. And it was a bunch of crap. But this year, if he takes all these young guys, he's going to have to coach his butt off. He's going to have to come up with really good schemes, really good plans to get guys open, to utilize these young guys, to figure out what they're good at early and make sure that he uses them to their best potential so that they can be successful. If he does that, I think they could win 13, 14 games. Now, I said they're going to be 9-8 because I don't know if he can do that. I don't know. But I will say, if they are successful this year, if they do win a bunch of games, if they do make the playoffs, I think it's more because of Matt LaFleur coaching these young guys and making it work than it is for Goody. Because a lot of these guys, we've seen them, and they need some work. They need some experience, and they need to use their talents to the best of their abilities. And I don't know if I believe Matt LaFleur can do that, but if they are successful, I'm counting on him and giving him the credit because he deserved the credit 2 years ago or 3 years ago or however many years ago when he never got it because everybody said, oh, he's got Aaron Rodgers, so it's not a coach. He's not a good coach. He's got Aaron Rodgers. That's why they won 13 games. No, that wasn't the reason why. So I'll give Matt LaFleur, if they're successful, he gets a little bit more credit than Goody. And Mark Murphy gets none. I win again.
Damn. I will say this about Matt LaFleur is that Goody drafts a lot of talent and a lot of potential, but not always a lot of good players, except for my birthday buddy, Sean Clifford, who's really good just right out of the gate because he knows how to play football. But all these other guys are great athletes who don't necessarily the best at football, and so they require some coaching. So I'll give you that, and I'll give Matt LaFleur that. So I don't know. Maybe you're right. I just wanted to say Bumblefart, turnip truck farmer, and cutting wheat in the field. Anyway, go ahead.
So you know what? I already won because he said I'm right. So we can stop. I win.
You win that one.
We can score this to Ben since he actually answered the question.
I just had to talk about Mark Murphy for a little while.
All right, Ben. Let's continue talking about success and what it means. What do you think it would take from Jordan Love for people to consider him having a successful season? What do you need to see out of Jordan Love to say he's had a good, successful year?
Well, what I'm looking for is, listen, the guy sat for 3 years. The guy's going to have arguably one of the most quarterback-friendly offenses in the NFL. coming from the Shanahan-McVay tree, right? This should be easy passes, guys getting open, all that kind of stuff, right? There will be issues with catching the ball. We can't judge it on numbers alone and wins alone. But what I will say is this: I'm expecting him, to utilize Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon, Josiah DeGuara, use the tight ends. I want to go back to when I can remember, and I'm not a Brett Favre fan as much as most people would be, but I can remember Brett Favre when he would just chuck it to anybody. That guy's open now, throw it to him. There'd be plays or games where he'd have 9 guys with a catch, right? And that's what I want to see. I want to see Jordan Love. That's going to be successful to me. If I don't want to see one guy with 170 targets and the next guy has 50. That's dumb. And then also that next guy is Aaron Jones and not a receiver. This team is going to be run properly. A successful year for me is that he runs the offense. The offense looks productive. The offense moves down the field. Yeah, there'll be some errant throws. Yeah, there'll be some drop passes. But I want to see some, controlling the game, move the ball down the field, read the defense well, make good decisions. And sometimes you got to take a chance. Sometimes you'll throw a pick here and there. So my stats, I'm looking at, I want to see 30 touchdowns. I really think that he's capable of doing that, especially with all the young talent. I also want to see, I'm thinking 3,500 yards, because there's going to be a lot of opportunity in this offense for yards after catch. If he throws it, instead of the Aaron Rodgers where you throw it to the sideline and the guy catches it and he's out of bounds right away, this guy, he's going to throw a 15 or 10-yard slant, and you're going to see a guy run for freaking 50 yards or run for 20 more yards or whatever it is. So I see he's definitely going to have more yards than Aaron Rodgers last year, more touchdowns than Aaron Rodgers last year. And I don't care if he's got 15 interceptions, as long as he's got 30 touchdowns, and as long as he's got, 3,500 or possibly even 4,000 yards passing, because he's aggressive. I want to see him make the right decision. I want to see him throw the ball in there when even though it's a tight window, but the guy's open, throw it to him, because you don't know, right? Make the right decision, be accurate, do your best. If you throw a couple picks, who cares? As long as you are giving us some points. I want to see points and smart moves. How good are you in the pocket? I just think it's all positive. So that's why, the Packers might win 9 games. He might throw 15 picks, but he might have 30 touchdowns. That's what I'm looking at. 15 picks, 30 touchdowns, maybe 4,000 yards passing. That's going to be a good year for him. I don't want to see him be a average quarterback stats. I don't want average quarterback stats. He's been here for 33 years, and the system is set up to be quarterback friendly. So give me some numbers.
All right, Jason. How about you? What do you need to see out of Jordan Love to say he's had a successful year?
All right, number one. First, I'm going to say, back up your Matt LaFleur point in just a minute. First, before I get into the rest of the stuff, which was Jordan Love talked about. They asked him a number of times because there was comparisons to checks at the line and what's the freedom you have and blah, blah, blah. Like reporters were asking him in the preseason. And he just said, look, I'm going to just trust the plays, and that Matt called a good play, and I'm going to run the play. And I'm sure that's music to Matt LaFleur's ears, because he ain't heard that music in 4 years. But so that's number one, running the play. And he knows the offense, and he's not trying to create his own offense outside of the offense that they already put in for all the players to know. So number one, that's it. Run the offense. Number two, which might actually be my number one point, 0 burnt timeouts because you run the play clock down and you got to call timeout. We're going to see the ball snap before 5 seconds on the play clock almost every time. Almost every time. Whereas with Aaron Rodgers, you saw the ball snap below 5 seconds almost every time. And most of the time it was with 1 second or 0 seconds and should have been a flag. Which means 2 things. The pace of the game is going to be better. They'll get more plays in a game because you're not burning all that clock time, and you won't be burning stupid timeouts to avoid a 5-yard penalty, and you'll be actually be able to have those timeouts when you need them, when it's important, instead of because your quarterback was pissing around or whatever the hell that was. So that's another successful thing, is operating the offense, getting out of the huddle, running the play with time on the play clock. Oh my gosh, am I excited to see that. That will be success to me. And lastly, I think Jordan Love, Like, I heard this question recently. I don't remember what it was. It was a radio show, or it was Andy Herman talking about it, or whatever. It was somebody. But saying, well, if Jordan Love has the stats comparable to Aaron Rodgers last year, screw that. They're going to be better than the 26th rank guy in the league last year. Jordan Love needs to be 15th, 16th, in the middle of the pack at least, in terms of his QBR, in terms of his efficiency, in terms of his yards and touchdowns and all that. There'll be some interceptions, yep, but I want that to balance out. I want him to be in the middle of the pack. That's success to me in his first year as a starter after being here and knowing the offense for 3 years.
Rick, you're muted again.
That time. Okay. So, Jason, staying on the theme of the youth movement here, which of these first or second year receivers do you think is going to have the greatest impact this season?
Hold on. Can you line up your head with Royce's hair right there and see how that looks? Let's see. It doesn't look good. It doesn't.
Oh, yeah, that's not my look.
Here, let's give you goodies. There, that's better.
That one I can relate to.
If I can that's better. Yeah, that's better. There, okay. All right. Well, I'm sorry. What was your question? What did you say?
All right. Talking about the youth movement of the Packers. Which of the young receivers, which of these first or second year guys, which of the first or second year pass catchers are going to have the biggest impact on the team this season?
Whoa, this one's easy, y'all. If I'm talking about receivers, not tight ends, because Luke Musgrave is going to have a huge impact from the tight end spot. No doubt. As long as he doesn't get hurt, he's going to get a crap ton of balls. He's going to do a bunch. But
that's a pass catcher. Fine.
No, I'm still going to go with this guy.
He catches balls.
Because anybody that touches balls and catches balls, all right, we'll consider him. A ball toucher and catcher. I got it. All right, so everybody's on the Christian Watson train, and so was I for fantasy football. Romeo Doubs, oh my gosh, we love Romeo Doubs. But Jaden Reed is going to be the most impactful guy on this team who's a new pass catcher or a first or second year pass catcher, a young ball handler who catches them and touches them. He is going to be the most dynamic and impactful guy in the 2023 season because he's running pass patterns over the middle. Jordan Love is going to actually throw over the middle, which Aaron Rodgers never wanted to do unless it was a guy that he trusted 2,000%, which isn't even a reasonable percent because it should really only go up to 100%. But that's what the trust had to be with Aaron Rodgers for him to throw you the goddamn ball over the middle. Jordan Love, if he trusts you 50%, he'll throw it to you over the middle. He don't care. He's just trying to make plays and score points. So, Jaden Reed is going to have a monster season. I'm calling it right now. I know Christian Watson's going to be great, but here's what's going to happen, guys. I'm just going to explain it to you real quick. Christian Watson's going to catch some deep balls. Then all the defenses are going to worry about Christian Watson, and the safeties are going to be back, right? Romeo Doubs is going to do some stuff. He's a little interesting guy, but he's not that dynamic. And he's not that good after the catch either, but he's good. He's fine. He's a good possession guy. And here you got Jaden Reed running over the middle, Luke Musgrave running over the middle. Those two guys are going to be the most impactful, but Jaden Reed, I'm going with him. He's going to catch a lot of balls. He's going to have some touchdowns. He's going to move the chains, keep drives going, which we saw a lot of stall drives last season, last couple seasons. Jaden Reed is going to be a chain mover. He beats one-on-one coverage. He's fast. He's shifty. And I know Ben said he's dropped some balls, but he's a gamer, man. He might drop balls in practice, Ben, but he ain't dropping them in the game. That's what I'm saying. So Jaden Reed is my guy to watch out for.
All right, Ben, who do you think is going to be the key ball touching down guy?
Well, I'm going to say Jason had it right in the first place. You should have stuck with Luke Musgrave because that was the guy I was going to pick. It's Luke Musgrave. And one of the main reasons I'm going to say that is because, well, just look at this week. Christian Watson's out. Romeo Doubs got a hammy. Last year, Christian Watson only played half the year, and Romeo Doubs only played half the year. They both got injured for multiple games. Now, I'm not saying there's no guarantee that Luke Musgrave might not be hurt for multiple games. But the difference is this is the first time we have a tight end who can actually stretch the field, who has speed, and it's proven even in the preseason already, where the Bengals got scared and double teamed him and left Christian Watson wide open, and other teams are going to double team him and leave receivers wide open. And that's another key thing. It's not just the fact that he's going to catch it. It's about being impactful in the field of play. He's also going to have to run block a lot more than these other guys. And on play action passes, pass protect, which he's done pretty damn well so far. I've been impressed with Luke Musgrave for the most part. And I think his receiving prowess is going to even take off even further than that. And it's going to be the first time we've ever seen something like this. Not since Jermichael Finley have we seen a guy who's going to be able to do what this guy can do. Now, he's got some drop issues. And that seems to be Goody's calling card. He drafts these guys, super freak athletes who drop balls, apparently. But his impact will be felt based on his receiving, his blocking, also the fact that he'll take the top off the middle of the defense, which will open it up for Jaden Reed to actually make a couple plays, because no one's going to double team Jaden Reed. No one's going to double team Jaden Reed. Okay, but why is he going to get the plays? Because they're double teaming Luke Musgrave. Luke Musgrave will have the most impact on this Packers team and this Packers offense, even more than Christian Watson. Even more. Because of all the things that he is going to have to do. And he's proven that he's pretty good at it. So I'm going to say Luke Musgrave. Though, if it was going a couple more years higher, I might say Josiah DeGuara. But we're only doing the young guys. So Luke Musgrave beats out Jaden Reed by a snippet, because I think Christian Watson's going to be hurt. He already is hurt for week 1. There you
go. I think that's a good call, Ben. I think your brother's optimistic, but I think you're a little more realistic with that pick.
Hey, I'm just saying, Jaden Reed and Luke Musgrave going to take the top off, and that means, Christian Watson and Luke Musgrave taking the top off, and that means Jaden Reed's wide open underneath with nobody there, and he's going to get a bunch of catches, gobble them up like Pac-Man, nom, 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 nom. He's going to get lots of catches, lots of yards, and he's going to score some touchdowns because of those guys. So that's what I see.
All right, maybe.
One more thing. Jaden Reed is the number 3 receiver at best. Luke Musgrave is going to be out there in almost every gosh dang play, because he's the best tight end they got. Because the other two guys, Tucker Kraft has looked okay, and nobody knows Ben Sims or whatever the guy's name was.
How's his mustache status?
His mustache is terrible. He needs it, but he's got a big honking schnoz, so he's trying to cover the fact that he's got a big honking schnoz. It's not his fault. He's got a big honking schnoz.
You can't be considered the most impactful if you have a terrible mustache. That's all I'm saying.
Well, Aaron Rodgers had a mustache, and he was good for a couple years before it became a diva jerk face.
Terrible mustache. Monkey. It was like it was thinner on one side. It wasn't like uniform.
You can't even grow a mustache. What the hell do you know about mustache?
Let's talk about Jason's facial hair decisions over the years.
All right.
You remember the goatee, the double barrel goatee that went in different directions?
Yeah, that started a trend for a lot of other people. Started doing it after I did that. I am a trend setter. That's just fact. Okay, continue.
Nobody did that.
Numerous people, and by numerous I mean at least 2, did that after I had done it. So, okay, continue on.
We might have to take off points for that answer.
I'm definitely winning.
11.1 ABV. 11.1 ABV. Go ahead, Eric.
Fair enough. Okay, Ben, you touched on it. William G touched on it in the chat. There's been certainly some buzz about, is Christian Watson soft? Is he fragile? Is he going to be injury plagued? Do you think he deserves this fragile label, or has he just had, some bad luck and we don't have to worry?
Well, I don't know if he's fragile. I think what he is he's just too darn skinny and muscular. Like, his body fat is so low that it seems like, he's just a chiseled monster, and there's nothing there to cushion anything. So it's like he's pulling things and he's doing weird things because he's just too fast, and I don't know what his deal is. But the fact is that he missed all of training camp last year and half of the season. He all of a sudden shows up this week and they're like, "Oh, he's out. He's not playing this weekend." But he's the guy we need to be playing more than anybody because he takes the top off the defense. Even just to go out there and just run straight and make the defense scared. That's all you got to do. You can't go out there and do that. Even if he can't catch, which he sometimes can't. So I don't know. there's two things I would say about Christian Watson. He has speed, size, those things that you can't teach. But he doesn't have body control as well as other wide receivers, even on the Packers. Like Romeo Doubs has got way better body control than he does. And it proved it in that deep pass where he jumped up in the air and it was a little underthrown, but he should have just kept running. Why is he jumping in the air and trying to catch it and then he dropped it? I don't know. I don't think he's soft. I wouldn't call him soft. I would just call him a guy with a lot of athletic skills, like raw, like speed and things like that. But he's not like Butterbroad here, Michael, saying too much like Randy Moss, but he's not like Randy Moss. Randy Moss had agility, had ball awareness, was able to torque his body in weird ways to catch passes and do all kinds of crazy stuff. And Randy Moss didn't get hurt that much, even though he was skinnier. And Randy Moss wasn't nearly as muscled as Christian Watson is. Christian Watson is like, if you look at his legs and his arms and stuff, it's like zero body fat. He's like a monster. But sometimes you can be too chiseled, and I think that is the thing that's leading to him getting injured. And I'm hoping that he gets better. I'm hoping that he can fight through this stuff. But sometimes you got to just play. So I don't know. If it's something where it's just like, oh, his hamstring hurts a little bit or whatever it is, it's going to be a nagging injury, take a shot, get your ass out there and run deep and cause the defense to get scared, even if you're not going to get the ball thrown your way. Because when you're out there, you cause concerns to people, period. So maybe he is a little soft. I don't know. I guess that's not a good answer. I'm not going to win this debate because I don't know. Jason's finally going to get one.
Well, I don't know. He hasn't answered yet. All right, Jason, what do you think? Is Christian Watson, has he got the injury bug or people overreacting?
It's simple. Christian Watson is playing out of climate. Christian Watson was born in Phoenix, Arizona. Christian Watson was in the South in the heat. Then for some reason went to North Dakota State University.
Wait a minute. He's cheating. What? He's looking this stuff up on his phone.
I knew that. I was
looking where I want a flag on the field. Flag on the field. Illegal use of
I was just double checking. I knew he was born in the South. I just wanted the exact location. I thought he was from Florida, and he changed.
He gets disqualified on this question. I automatically win.
You're talking way too much during my time. Anyway, the point is Christian Watson is playing out of climate, so he's going to have these little things, but he's not soft. The problem is the Packers coaches and trainers are soft. They protect these players way too goddamn much. It's like, dude, if you took players back in the 90s and put them now in the way these trainers deal with every little injury, it's just ridiculous. Play through some shit, like just play, because you're like you said, credit to you, Ben, your presence on the field is more important than whether or not you can perform at your top level, because the defense and in this case, the defense or the other team needs to respect that, needs to expect that you might be able to perform at your top level. And so they got to be concerned about you, which opens things up for other people. I don't care if Christian Watson doesn't catch a pass on Sunday. I'd still put him on the field, because the Bears are going to, number one, probably allocate 2 guys to him every pass play. Every pass play. That gives someone else an advantage. That gives Luke Musgrave an advantage. That gives Jaden Reed an advantage. Hell, that even gives Romeo Doubs. Romeo, where out there? Oh, far though, my Romeo. I screwed that Shakespeare up. Anyway, give me a negative point for that. I used to do Shakespeare. Anyway, never mind.
That's 3 negative points on this one.
Point is,
one topic.
Point is, Malik Heath would chew him up if Christian Watson was just on the field. He's not soft. The coaches are too damn soft. The trainers are too soft. They treat these guys too soft. They got to play football. They're football players. Put them on the field and play football. Is anybody else frustrated by this? I see other teams. Now, if you're a player, let's just go back. If you're a player like Aaron Rodgers, remember Aaron Rodgers who got his knee crushed in 2018 in the Bears game and came back in the game? He did not come back in the game because the trainer said, oh, you can go back in the game. He said, I'm effing Aaron Rodgers. I'm going back in the game. Okay? So that's what happened when you get to a certain level, you can make those demands. But all these other guys, the trainers are basically like, no, we're going to play it super safe because we got to protect you for it's a long season. And
we're paying you $250 million.
Right. We're paying you all this money and all this stuff. Screw that. Put them on the field. They're football players. Play football. That's what I say. Right. Christian Watson's not soft. The trainers and the NFL is soft. That's what it is.
Okay, I'll say this.
Points. The thing I took a beef with is saying he's playing out of climate. When did he get hurt? When it's like 100 flipping degrees in Green Bay.
Yeah, that made no sense. I will give Jason this. He won that debate because he said the training team they're the ones that are soft. And I agree. That was the best take. However, he should lose 2 points because of use of illegal information and also screwing up his Shakespeare.
That's true. My Shakespeare was terrible. I actually was my freshman year of college at UW Superior. I nailed the hell out of the Taming of the Shrew scene, which my professor was not that high on me at the time. He was giving me like a B in like a beginning acting class, which was total bullshit, but whatever. Cause I wasn't like, the normal theater person. Cause I was a little different. But then we did Taming of the Shrew. He gave us a choice, and I said, I want that scene. And he's like, well, that's a challenging scene. That's Shakespeare. You want to do Shakespeare. No one else is doing Shakespeare. I was like, I'll effing do Shakespeare, bro. And I did it. And with a girl who was a senior, who was just taking the acting class as an elective because she needed some elective. She didn't even give a shit about acting. That was my partner. And we killed that scene. And I got a freaking A in the class because we killed Shakespeare. So I'm just saying. Anyway, Butter, there's probably an echo in the room because somebody took all my noise deflectors from this room so people could sleep down here in the basement for sleepovers and shit. And all I got is a couple of random pillows. So my apologies if it's echoey in here when I yell.
I'm thinking he just said that you echoed what I just said.
But I'm great in Shakespeare. I will say that. I should have been.
Okay. You're about as good as Keanu Reeves was in Much Ado About Nothing.
Screw you.
Ouch.
I would say Kenneth. I'm more like Kenneth. What's his name?
Kenneth Branagh? No, you're not as good as him.
Screw you. All right, next.
You're more like Mel Gibson in his Hamlet that he did.
That's mean. You're an asshole.
That's
Go on,
Eric. Half a point to Ben for that one. All right, Jason, let's change it up. We've been talking for like 3 hours about the
3 hours. Holy crap!
Okay, not really, but I'm sure it feels like it to your audience.
I'm sure it does.
Wow, no way.
I mean,
except
like
David likes
15 minutes, probably, right? All right, let's change it up. Let's shake it up a little bit. Let's talk defense.
Ooh,
so the Packers have invested a lot, draft capital, real capital. Certainly added some guys, retained some guys on the defensive side of the ball too. Definitely some youth on that side. Jason, what do you think? Do you think all this talent that they've brought in and developed, is it going to finally come together and this defense is going to rank in the top 10 this season?
As the late and sort of great Kevin Green once said, it is time. Like he told Clay Matthews, it is time. Yes, this defense is going to be the difference this year. That's why I believe they can win 11 games. They have all this talent. And finally, Joe Barry, I mentioned this before. I don't know why it takes a whole season of not doing this and then asking your players after the season what they would prefer to do for you to change your approach instead of being super passive and playing off to being aggressive and trying to penetrate and trying to be aggressive on the corners and the outside. Those things go together. I don't understand. Joe Barry's been a coach for how many years? Like 40 years or whatever the hell it is. Employed by multiple teams. How does it take you that long to understand that having aggressive defensive line play that aren't just trying to gap and hold like we used to have to do, Rick, which was shed your man and man this gap and not penetrate. And then you don't make impactful plays because you're doing your job, what the coach tells you to do. But then if you're Chad DeCane and you just fly up the field and don't listen to the rules and you make a play here and there, then you're an all conference. Dumb shit. We did what we were supposed to do. and we made no impactful plays because that was the scheme. We followed the scheme.
Right. That was it. Yeah.
Joe Barry doesn't understand that penetrating aggressive defensive line play and aggressive corner play, throwing the timing off for the receivers, works together beautifully. That is an exact match. Why in the hell wouldn't you do that? Instead, the approach to this point was hold your gap, don't penetrate and be too aggressive, and on the outside, play off. That's just inviting easy completions. That's dumb. That's not good football. So finally, Joe Barry has changed it around. They're supposed to play aggressive on the outside. They're supposed to be penetrating defensive line. This defense is primed with all the talent and finally being unleashed by their coaching staff to be a top 5 defense. And I believe that they will. And part of my belief, even though everybody pointed out how weak the safety position is, I like Rudy Ford. Rudy Ford is going to make up for Darnell Savage being a piece of garbage. And maybe Darnell Savage won't even be out on the field by midseason. Maybe Anthony Johnson Jr. will be a little bit better and he'll be out there. That would be awesome. But Quay Walker in the middle is going to cover up a lot of boo-boos and a lot of mistakes because he'll just tackle everybody and beat him up. And then when the whistle blows, he's like, I'm cool.
He's literally going to be beating him up and then getting thrown.
Yes, but then when the whistle blows, he's like, I'm cool, guys. Hey, nice play, everybody. I'm Quay Walker. Welcome to the NFL. And then he crushes everybody. So, Quay Walker, all these other dudes, penetrating defensive line, aggressive play on the outside, Rasul Douglas's awareness, Jair maybe covering a guy once in a while, but not tackling him. 100% this defense is going to be good. Eric Stokes, stay the hell out of here. Carrington Valentine, Keyshawn Nixon. Boom! This defense is awesome this year. They're going to help the Packers win 11 games.
All right, one more quick. This could be a yes and no question before we go to Ben. Do you think the Packers are going to be on the positive side of the turnover margin this year? The defense is going to generate more turnovers than the offense will commit?
Oh, that's supposed to be a quick answer. Jair is not aware.
Yes or no, Jason?
Stokes is not aware.
Yes or no?
Yes, they'll be +2 because they have Rasul and they have Keyshawn Nixon and Rudy Ford who will make plays. The other guys will not make plays unless they're given to him. Jordan Love will make some turnovers. Aaron Jones will fumble a couple of times. What do you want?
Fair enough.
Don't say that. He's not going to, you jerk.
He's going to fumble a couple of times, but he's going to make a bunch of awesome plays. Doesn't matter.
All right, Ben, what do you think of the defense? You think they got the makings of actually becoming a top 10 defense this season?
Well, your question was top 10. Jason put him in the top 5. I don't know what the heck he's been smoking or drinking
top
over there because he's totally freaking wrong.
11.
And he even said it himself at the end. Jair might cover a guy once in a while, but he ain't going to tackle him. Okay. That's bad. Preston Smith has got no speed, can't get any pressure, and he sure as hell can't cover when he drops back in coverage. That's
LVN.
bad.
Lucas Van Ness.
Lucas Van Ness is a first-round pick who has proven nothing in the preseason and can't even get freaking pressure. That's bad. Kenny Clark can beat the guy in front of him, then he does nothing. That's bad. All the guys that are supposed to be good are bad. The only guys that are good are the ones that people say are bad. Rasul Douglas is really good. They say he stinks. Or that he was bad at the slot and he's an okay. No, he's really good. Keyshawn Nixon, we don't know what he's going to be like. Well, he's aggressive. I know that. He'll screw up a couple times. He'll make some plays. Rudy Ford, he'll screw up. But you know what? He'll grab some picks and he'll run around and do some crazy stuff. That's awesome. But that's only 3 or 4 guys. Devondre Campbell's not aggressive enough. Quay Walker is, but sometimes he screws up. When it comes to the defensive line, they cut Jonathan Ford, who's their big fat guy. All they got is one big fat guy left, TJ Slayton. The rest of them are all skinny guys. Devontae White can only play one play, and then he gets tired. He's got to have to come out. Colby Wooden and Carl Brooks are undersized defensive ends. They're going to get shoved around in the run game. They might be able to penetrate, which would be good, could cause a problem, but it's going to lead to big plays. And because of the big plays that are going to be given up, I cannot put them in the top 10. I think they will be in the top 15. I think they'll be like somewhere in there. I'm hoping they are. And that should be good enough to get them to be 9-7, like I said. But there's no freaking way in hell they're going to be top 5. You're smoking some crazy crap if you think they are. Because they still have Jair, who doesn't want to tackle anybody. They still have Savage, who stinks, who doesn't know where the ball is ever. Can't do anything. They still have Campbell, who's not aggressive enough. They still have Preston, who doesn't make enough plays and definitely can't cover out of the backfield. They still have Kenny Clark, who doesn't do jack squat after he beats the guy in front of him.
All I know is you just named all of the perceived best guys on the defense and said they weren't very good.
That's right. So how can they be a top 5 defense or a top 10 defense when the guys that are going to be playing the most aren't that great?
Because they got the sneak attack. Rudy Ford, Rasul Douglas, Keyshawn Nixon, Quay
and
Walker.
Those guys will win some games, just like they did in the last 2 years.
I know.
Where Rasul gets some picks right in the right exact spot. Rudy Ford does some awesome. Go back and watch the Dallas.
Rudy Ford killed the Dallas game. He was awesome.
Without Rudy Ford, we don't win that game, people. But everybody wants to sit Rudy Ford. Screw you. Rudy Ford won us that Dallas game along with Christian Watson. And that's the difference. But you don't have a whole team of Rudy Fords and Rasul Douglases and Carl Brooks and all these guys, right? And
Carl Brooks, I will say his calves are about as defined as mine, which is kind of sad.
I know, but he makes plays.
He's a much bigger man. Much bigger.
So
man.
What I'm saying is this: the defense will be hopefully ranked about 15 to 11, 15 to 12, somewhere in there. There's no way they're going to be top 10, and there's certainly no way they're going to be top 5.
What if Sully just tears them up? What if Sully's like, screw all this shit, I'm just going to make all the plays?
If they move Sewell to safety, then I think they would, because he would clean up all the crap and get Savage the hell out of there and have Rudy Ford play deep, or have Rasul play deep. He'll just cover the frickin'. He'll get there. He'll make a play, but they're not going to do that.
Valentine on the field,
and I don't trust Joe Barry, so no.
You don't trust him.
I'm right again. I just want another. I just want another debate.
We saw him in person on his bike. Didn't even realize it was him.
Nope.
And you don't trust him? You looked him in the eyes.
I did, and I was like, "Who is this guy? He looks really dumb."
Damn it!
Oh, that was mean. I didn't mean to say that.
All right. So Ben, what do you think? Packers as a team going to win the turnover battle? Defense going to have more turnovers than the offense?
No, there's no way. No way. Jordan Love is young. He's going to throw some picks. It's just the way it's going to be. And there aren't enough guys that make plays on the ball on the defense. And teams that they're
when
smart.
Eric Stokes comes back.
Yeah, right. And
with
the teams that are
Packers
smart, they'll stay away from Rasul and they'll go after Jair. They'll throw to Savage wherever he is. He ain't going to catch nothing. It's fine. They'll just avoid the guys that get picks, and there won't be that many turnovers, and they'll be 9-8, like I said.
All right. Let's see. How are we doing on time? Should we start winding down or whatever?
Yeah, we should be around the last 1 or 2 questions here.
All right.
Wrap them up.
Second to last question here.
Butter needs I need a that's bad t-shirt. What is that, Butter? That's bad. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I kept saying that's bad. I think I kept saying that's bad. This guy's over here. That's bad. This guy's over here. That's bad.
Butter's a terrible person to have watch a show because he just agrees with Ben all the time. This is some bullshit, Butter.
That's because Butter and I know each other from the Horn Hall days.
All right, Rick.
Butter trusts me. He trusts me, man. We climbed a mountain together in Switzerland. He trusts me.
All right.
Let's try to take things back to the positive. Ben, who wins the NFC North this season?
Man, this is tough. But the fact that I give the Packers a 9-8 record and make them a wild card team means that they didn't win it. But I can't trust the Bears because they stink. And I can't trust the Vikings because they stink. So I got to trust the Lions. I didn't want to. I didn't want to believe in the Lions. But they looked pretty good last night.
Wait, the same Lions that you said were just a decent team and not very good?
They are just. I'm just saying everybody's crowning them like they're going to be like.
That is what you said.
I think the Lions will win like maybe 10 games or 11 games. They'll just sneak out just above the Packers and probably win the division. And they got a good head start by beating the Chiefs right off the bat. So I don't, that's fine. I think if they'll make it, they'll win the division. But then if they meet the Packers in the playoffs, Packers will beat them.
Whoa, bold!
And that's all I need to say.
Even if Eckes goes to the game,
yeah. Even if Eckes goes, that's fine.
Holy
because we don't have Rodgers here to give him the game like he did last year.
Are you
He
talking
gave him
about
the first? He gave him the first game, gave him 3 picks and lost. And the next game,
games.
he just threw a freaking wounded duck in the middle of nowhere, threw a pick at the end of the game. They don't have Rodgers here anymore to give the Lions the game. Rodgers was terrible against the Lions.
That Joseph guy was a rookie safety. He had like all those picks against Aaron Rodgers. It was nuts. Yeah. Made his career and probably his life. Damn.
Yeah.
He's got more picks against Aaron Rodgers than a bunch of guys that have played in the NFL in one season. That's crazy.
All right, Jason, what do you think? Who's taking the North?
I said it before a couple weeks ago. Lee told me not to say it, and I'd take it back, but I can't take it back. The Lions are winning the division 100%. The Lions.
You got the Packers winning 11 games.
The Lions are going to win 13 games. They're going to win 13 games, Ben. They already beat the Chiefs, the defending Super Bowl champs. What do you want from them? They're a tough, gritty team. They also are a team like the Packers. Their GM in the last 2 seasons, they have 20 of 23 drafted players on this year's team. Okay? Here's the difference, everybody. The difference is that the Lions draft to fill starting roles and players they need to be on the field to make their team complete, and Goody drafts for talent and for potential.
That's
and he
correct.
doesn't care. He doesn't care if he stacks up 5 guys in one position because he's like, this guy's such a crazy athlete. We might be the next superstar in the league. I want guys to fill out a team. Goody wants the next superstar at any position he can find one. That's the difference. So that's why the Lions will win the division this year and win 13 games. Packers will win 11 games. Will make the playoffs. That's how it's going to go down. Plus, look, I like Jared Goff. He's a good quarterback. He can't do rollouts and crap like that, but he's a pretty good passer. He's a good leader. He's a good dude. All right? And having a good dude instead of a douchebag as your leader, like the Packers have had for the last 30 years, is kind of nice. On top of that, he works hard. On top of that, they got the good St. Brown when we had the crappy St. Brown. And also, in addition to all of that, they literally, if you go back and watch the Lions then, in the first 4 picks from this last year, they drafted 4 guys that will probably be starting for them by week 4. Those are 4 draft picks that fill roles to start on the team and immediately make an impact. Lucas Van Ness might be in a rotation, our 13th pick in the whole goddamn draft. That's the difference between winning now and maybe having the superstar, or maybe not, at a position and maybe winning a Super Bowl in a couple of years. I still think the Packers are going to win a Super Bowl within the next 3 years. I believe that wholeheartedly. But this year is the Lions' year.
All right. Good to know you guys are, some of the mind meld going on again, even if little different angles getting there. So maybe as I asked the last question, should be pretty straightforward question. People in the chat want to vote in or pick their winners in the chat while you guys answer this one. We can see who wins. Of course, it might just be Wildman and Butterbroat voting.
Dad was excited rooting for the Lions last night. I was talking to him while the game was kind of coming to a close, and he was really excited seeing the Lions win. So I think everybody's excited for the Lions. And yet, let's just, before we go to the next question, let's just give credit to the Lions fan base and their organization, but their fan base. Holy crap. Does anybody remember a couple of years ago when the Packers played the Lions? We remember because we were doing Hafeman Family Christmas in the last game of the season, and Jordan Love was starting, and Aaron Rodgers didn't start because the Packers had the number 1 seed sewn up or whatever the hell it was. And the Lions have won 3 games all year, and the stadium was packed, and their fans were going crazy for a 3-win team. Like, you know what? Hey, if the Lions win the division, we don't need to feel bad about that. We can still hate the Bears and definitely hate the Vikings, but nobody should hate the Lions. And if the Lions have some success before we win a Super Bowl in a couple of years and the Lions somehow get there before that and win it, hey, tip your cap, feel good for the Detroit Lions. They won a damn playoff game since the early 90s, so it's okay. Greg Taylor shows up. He says, Packers retake the North. The Lions will be the same as last year. Not a play. Oh, Greg Taylor. I don't know, man. I don't know. I think that's a year or two down the road, but I appreciate this take.
I think the Packers have the potential to take the North if everything falls together. They have the talent. They need the coaching, and they need the players to be more consistent. And if that happens, the talent will overtake, and they'll be fine. I just don't see that happening right away, which is why I think it'll lead to a 9-18. I think they have an easy schedule in the beginning. So if they come out gangbusters, they're going to freaking destroy everybody. It's going to be awesome. But I think they're going to have troubles. They're going to win a couple games here in the beginning. They're going to lose some games they should have won. And then the second half of the year, they're going to win some games they probably were picked to lose. And because they're going to come together and make some plays, and they're going to be 9 wins. And Jason's going to be wrong, and I'm going to be right. And they're still going to make the playoffs, and they're going to make a run in the playoffs. They're going to make the NFC Championship game, and they're going to play the 49ers and probably lose again. Damn it! I hate the 49ers. Okay.
All right, chat. Weigh in if you think it was Ben that took tonight's debate, or if it goes to bro number 2, Jason.
I had a strong close. I was like the closer right there. I think that last question, I
but I won the first 8 questions. So
I think I made up a lot of ground. Yeah, but it's also people have short memories. It's all kind of how you finish. It's not.
That's true.
You get remember how Brett Favre would play like garbage forever and ever and ever, like basically the whole game, which was the reason the Packers were behind, and then he'd make a play at the end of the game. Everybody think Brett Favre was great, but really they were behind, and he had to make that play because he played so shitty in the beginning of the game and for the first 3 quarters. Anyway, that's all I'm saying. It's right there.
I remember that.
Yeah. So it's all how you finish.
All right, Go Ben. Ahead. Predictions for Sunday. Who wins and score if you're feeling extra insightful.
Okay, you know how I said that the game means more to the Bears. Like, I think the Bears need to win this game. They will be way more desperate, but it ain't going to matter. Packers are still going to win it. Packers are still going to win it. So, because of that, I think they're going to, with no Christian Watson, I'm going to give it a little bit tamer of a score than I would have with Christian Watson. So I'm going to say 20-16, which is a weird score, but they're going to barely creep it out and win the game. They're going to have 3 touchdowns. Anders Carlson is going to miss the extra point.
Anders.
And whatever.
Right, I was just going to ask, does that mean Carlson's making 2 field goals or missing an extra point?
Well, he's going to miss an extra point. He's probably not going to even attempt a field goal.
What are you going to say, Rasul now? What the hell's wrong with you?
No, I'll never do that. I'll always say Rasul.
What? Rayshawn.
I don't know who that is. But I think Packers are going to win 20-16. And the Bear fans will freak out and have a heart attack and cry a lot, and it'll be awesome.
Oh, but it's only the second year of Matt Eberflus. They won't cry yet. Come on, man. All right, look, the Bears.
Okay.
The Bears they've made some nice adjustments to their the big guys on their team, but their skill positions are way off, and they're gonna still be way off. I mean, Justin Fields, they got all their hope on Justin Fields. He's a good athlete, not a quarterback. It's just legit. I don't know how you could watch him play the last 2 seasons and not understand that. They see him every day. The coaches see him every day, what he can do and what he can't do. It's like the guy is not a quarterback. He's a crazy athlete, but he is not a quarterback of the future, of anybody's future. So Packers are going to win this game. Remember in 2019, the Packers won a game 10-3 against the Bears. Remember that?
It was ugly.
Ben said, well, they scored 10 points, but at least they won. I don't care how many points they score, as long as they win. As long as they win. That's what he said.
I agree.
Remember it.
I agree with myself.
Burnt in my brain from 2019. But they'll score a few more points this time. Dad says 21-17 Packers. I'm going to say it's 24-10 Packers.
Oh! Blowout.
Because 8 Carlson field goals?
No, but Justin Fields is going to throw some picks to Rasul Douglas.
Oh, okay, I'll take it.
You pick his ass off. He almost picked him off the first time he ever played Justin Fields. He almost picked him off. He even talked about it in the Big Play Slave podcast. First time he got on the field was against the Bears with the Packers. And he said, film study, he said, in this situation, Fields is going to throw it there. And he went for it. And the only reason he didn't pick it off is because Justin Fields made such a bad throw. He made a super high throw that was out of his reach. Otherwise, he was right there to pick it off and return it for a touchdown. Rasul Douglas probably picks it off, returns it for a touchdown this time because he knows exactly what Justin Fields is going to do, because everybody knows what Justin Fields is going to do. So the only thing you got to do is not let him run all over the joint. And the Packers won't do that because Quay Walker's looming all the time in the middle. So it's 24-10. Green Bay Packers win 100% in this game. The Bears still suck. The Packers are on the uptake. 11 wins this season. What does Butter say? 17-14 Pack Butter. At least you got to win. Dude, 21-17.
One more quick question from the chat.
Ooh,
how does the championship trophy fit on the shelf? Beautifully. I actually had it in my office at work for a week or so.
Nice.
It's quite an attention grabber, conversation starter. So it was probably getting a lot more attention there than in Mo's garage.
Or his basement, which no one goes into.
But it is now home, and it is on my shelf, prominently displayed in the living room, at least for now. We'll see how long it lasts there, but I might just have to epoxy it to the countertop so it can't get moved.
Did you show your kids that you won a trophy from?
Oh yeah, it only took Charlotte 3 days to notice it, but she's like, "Hey, what's this? You won something?" Yeah, it happens from time to time.
Butter says Ben won the debate, but he showed up super late, so I don't know if I can trust him. And of course,
true.
Mom,
so he heard your best debates and he still picked me.
Of course, Mom plays the middle like she always does and says it's a tie.
Listen, Mom always plays the middle. Remember when we were kids, Mom would get us when we get toys for Christmas. We both get Luke Skywalker and Hoth battle gear. Like, what two kids that play together want to have two Luke Skywalkers? She should have got one of us a Luke and one of us a Han Solo. But we both got Luke Skywalker and Hoth battle gear. Come on.
But then Jason would be dropping you on your head trying to take your Han Solo. So.
I know. That's what Mom was like. She's like, nope, you boys are going to get exactly the same toy, so there's no fighting. That's what she said.
Man. Little did she know. Little did she know.
All right.
We didn't fight that much.
I think I got to give a very slight edge to Ben. Decided in part by Jason's last point that, yes, if Justin Fields throws the ball to Rasul's side, Rasul will pick it off. But if the Bears are even a little bit smart, what would you do with Justin Fields? You don't throw to Rasul's side. You just run to Jair's side.
You know what?
And what are they going to do? Have safety help over there? No.
They got Luke Getsy as their offensive coordinator. The only saving grace the Bears have, the only opportunity, I'm just going to lay it out right now for you all. The only opportunity the Bears have to win this game is if they listen to their smartest player, which is Lucas Patrick, who is the smartest player on the whole goddamn Bears team. Smarter than the coaches, smarter than all the players. He will tell them exactly what you just said. If they listen to him, the Bears have a puncher's chance. If they don't listen to LP and listen to Luke Getsy, they're losing this game. Packers are winning.
Well, yeah, you should listen to a guy that's smart enough to go to Duke, right? I mean,
hell yeah.
So.
Plus, he's a new dad. Like, I was a little, maybe he's a little softer now because he's got a daughter and he's a, new dad, but I don't think so. Once he gets on the field, he'll be a tough guy again. I'm excited for him to play. I'm excited to watch him play and compete against the Packers. I hope he has a good game. I hope the Packers still win, but I hope he kicks Kenny Clark's ass and some other guys in there too. I really do.
Whoa.
All right.
Packers still win, though. That's what I'm saying.
It's been fun. Hopefully it was entertaining.
Somewhat.
Could have been.
Hopefully
we tried. We're not. It's always better when we do the drunk debates. But
I think I did better because of Giant Jones, but Ben said I did worse, so I don't know.
Well, you got better as you got more drunk.
Oh, is that what happened? Damn, I should have drank. I should have started earlier.
Yeah.
Shit. All right. Sorry, Mom. All right.
You're swearing a lot more now that you're drunk too.
That's smart. That's good. That does help. Swearing helps most things.
It does. That's Dad. He knows.
Accentuates
the Barry Hafeman motto. Swearing helps most things.
It accentuates your points. It shows your commitment to what you're saying. And anyway, Butter, you're welcome. All right, David, take care. Butter, take care. Mom and Dad, everybody else to watch the video before or after the fact. We have to once again thank our friend Raider Rick for being the moderator. He's the best moderator of all time, and he's also the best worm wrangler in the world. And that is
That's true.
That is not an overblown statement. That is 100% fact.
I don't know that many worm wranglers. Actually, I think my son's a worm wrangler.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's a worm wrangler in training.
Yeah, that's
but
true. Sometimes he's talked to me about it, and he's like, sometimes the worms just don't want to do what I want them to do, and he gets mad.
Right.
I did loan him one of my worm picks to see if it helped, but I don't know if that was enough.
It's not an easy job. I mean, handling the worms, is not an easy job.
Handling the worm is not an easy job. You are drunk.
I'm just saying, Rick, he's got a lot of skills over there, and he's a great moderator of all debates, whether it's in this platform or political platform. Think about it. Anybody else out there coming to Minneapolis for a debate, check out Raider Rick as your moderator.
Some people get paid to touch balls. Some people get paid to wrangle worms.
That's right.
You know.
All right. You guys all be good. Stay good. Raider Rick, thanks so much. Everybody else, take care of yourselves. Enjoy the Packers-Bears matchup. Remember, this is not a noon one. This is a 3:25 because it's so important. 3:25 kickoff.
Get some rest,
Eric,
Ben.
You get to watch it.
Better.
Feel better all. Take care of yourself. Be good. Stay good. As always, go Pack Go. Bears still suck. Packers win the opener this season. There's no doubt about that. We appreciate you guys watching and being good. Catch you later. Just to hold me, till I treat you, got to find